Hey guys, glad you're here. I'm currently under duress to make a second part of my Paper Mario the 1000-Year Door video from that fortune teller that I made from the last video. Now if that proof seems silly, I'd love to explain to you why it's not, but it's insistent that I get started right away. Isn't that right? As stated in my previous video, the next level is the worst, but not because of poor design. I'll explain when we arrive at the reason. After updating your map, you'll learn the crystal stars in Twilight Town, a town that is perpetually in twilight. Really clever name. I'm not a fan of this aesthetic, so I'd love to get through this quickly. I really would love that. Nothing would make me happier than to get through this quickly. But anyway, to get to Twilight Town, you have to write your name on your clothing. Info provided by former resident Darkly. The reason for this in-game is unclear and never comes up again. The reason out-of-game is so you don't break the story sequence, since the pipe is first available after getting the hammer and glitch built, but you can't get the info until after upgrading the map. Immediately after arriving, you're greeted by a resident who turns into a pig after the bell tolls. In my opinion, the poorly rendered pig is the only thing in this entire game that's dated visually. Fitting for the worst level. The mayor, who has to be unreasonably old like every political figure in this game, replaces your welcoming committee and tells you the town has been cursed. Every time the bell at creepy Steeple tolls, a town member gets turned into a pig. Apparently you don't even have to be a resident for this to occur, as the mayor urges Mario and company to run. This does beg the question though, if the curse isn't tied to the townspeople directly, why don't they just leave? I mean, the pipe is set up in a safe part of town, just ride it to Rogueport sewers and set up camp there for a while. We know they can leave because Darkly did. He just hides in the dark, and what's darker than sewers? Sure, you might be leaving behind a loved one, but they'd probably want you to run rather than share their fate. You could also probably bring them with you. There's this one mom who has 3 kids and she's like, yeah, this is fine. Staying would make sense if they are actively trying to solve their problem, but they're not. They're just resigned to fate. A fate they don't have to accept. It's just annoying to me. Oh, and about that mom, if you help her feed her children, she turns into a pig, and the youngest considers eating her. What? Also, what the heck do you mean by that, Goombella? I take offense. Anyway, the mayor says the crystal star is probably in creepy Steeple, so Mario heads in that direction. Before you can go though, you find another one of those black chests, and this one claims it's not like the other chest. They even tell you they'll give you a new ability. Sign me up. I can't believe she lied to us like that. She curses you and gives you the power to roll around into a tube. You might look ridiculous, but you can still jump, and it's faster than walking. Not Yoshi riding fast, but still fast. Almost as easy to make as the last curse. Using this ability, you traverse the land and make it to creepy Steeple, where you almost immediately set a ton of booze free, just like your brother did in Luigi's Mansion. If I were into self-promotion, I would tell you that I made a video about that game, but I won't do that. So now you must be thinking, oh, this is the worst chapter because of how scary it is, right? Wrong. Paper isn't scary. The creepy Steeple is a very easy area to traverse. It takes maybe 10 minutes to go through it. 5 if you cut out the fights. At the top of the steeple in the bell tower is a boss with an unknown name. A member of the Dupless species have the power to transform into others. First and only appearing in the original Paper Mario game. Until now, I mean. Oh, by the way, in between making this video and the previous one, I played the first Paper Mario game and learned a lot about the series. Like, the first game is garbage. Anyway, besides his party hat, this Dupless isn't special, so I don't know how he got this huge chapel dedicated to him. He's a member of a weak species Mario towns before, but whatever. This boss cursed the town because they're boring or something stupid like that. I mean, I'm not a fan of them either, but I'd probably just ignore them rather than actively antagonize them. But whatever, more power to you, you shit-brain freak. He's a very, very easy boss, and you should wipe him easily, but not before you transform into Shadow Mario. Man, even the other Dupless should turn into exact copies. This one is slacking hard. You beat him, break the curse, and get the crystal star. And by now you must be thinking, oh, this is the worst chapter because of how short it is, right? Wrong. This chapter isn't even close to over. I kid you not, I sat at the screen for a whole 10 seconds waiting for the next thing to happen. I might still be waiting my younger brother hadn't walked by and told me to push A. Turns out this boss didn't just copy Mario, he stole his name, body, and left Mario broken and battered while he steals his identity and probably runs out of town so Mario can hunt him down. But nope, he stays in town. But before you learn that, you get to see what the Shadow Sirens are up to. They plan to nuke Twilight Town to get the map from Mario, but they lost the bomb, so Belgium and Maryland blame and then make Vivian look for it. You know, Belgium is awful, but Maryland is just as bad, considering she's complicit and never sticks up for her little sister. As Mario, you have to take the path back to Twilight Town by yourself, fighting alone. And at the very end is where Body Snatcher McGee ambushes you without your friends. I don't know how he did some. I've been trying to lose Flurry and Koops forever. However, before he beats you to a bloody pulp, he decides to be sporting and let you try and guess his real name. If you manage to do so, then he'll give your body back. And no, it isn't Body Snatcher McGee. I tried. Some casual gamers might look up his name in an unsportsmanlike fashion, but cheaters have no place here. However, you can't guess the boss's name because he cheated and removed a vital part, the letter P. All sorts of fourth wall breaking shenanigans are happening here, so no matter what you do, you're gonna fail. You freaking loser. You can't hurt him and he can't hurt you. So you flee into town where you find Vivian searching for the bomb all alone, softly crying to herself like the darling she is. You decide to aid domestic terrorism and find the bomb for her. You can also go and see all your followers talking about how different Mario is now. None of them seem to care that the boss they fought just stalked them out here. But back to Vivian. She thanks you for finding the bomb, but unfortunately it's too busted to be fixed. She asks your name, but you can't say it because the boss stole that too. Of course, she gives Mario a smooch because she has to, and then joins you as a follower. Wait, she can't do that. She's a bad guy. I have the list of criteria for female followers right here. Huh. Guess it is okay. Vivian's Power sneaking in the ground to hide you from attacks and allows you to eavesdrop on conversations. You can use this to learn the secrets of the boss from the crows around town. Apparently there are very advanced people within her... Wait a second. Featherloss sites? Like naked bird websites? Is that a porn joke in a kids game? Because I think that's a porn joke in a kids game. I bet you Hooktail has an account. These birds are also very woke about social issues like the depletion of fossil fuels. They also take the SATs. Whatever they paid the writers of the game, it wasn't enough. After you check literally every other tree, you find the crows talking about Mario. Let it slip that the only one who knows the boss's true name is under Creepy Steeple, so you have to go back there. And that's why this level is the worst one. You have to go back and forth to Creepy Steeple so many times. Just back and forth, back and forth. Instead of, making Creepy Steeple bigger like Hooktail's castle, they said, you know what? We're not gonna do that. No, we're not gonna put in the effort of building a large level here for no reason at all. We're just gonna make you use the same level over and over again. That saves us time and development. It's so annoying. And then one time, you don't have a partner. You're just by yourself. You just have to go back by yourself. So, if the daisies put you to sleep, you're just stuck there taking hits until you can finally run away from them. And then when you run, you lose coins. It's worst level. I'm calm now. With Vivian's help, you can access a previously inaccessible room where a parrot says the boss's name after thinking you've vamoosed. You then grab the letter P from its chest and head on out. Back to Twilight Town. Through those stupid woods. Again! Once you confront the now named Dupless again and guess his name, he goes nuts. And runs back to Creepy Steeple. So guess where you get to go! Once you're back at the steeple and make it all the way back to the top, Dupless challenges you with all your friends. Vivian realizes that you're Mario and ditches you at the start feeling stupid, but after 2 turns she comes back to help because Mario's the only one to ever show her kindness. Oh my dear sweet Vivian, you are too precious for this world. Even if you use the crystal stars in this battle, something only you should have access to, you still need to beat Dupless for your companions to realize who the real faker is. Once exposed, Dupless apparently commits suicide by jumping out the window. You get the crystal star for real, and we get to see Dupless actually survived and ran off. Lucky you is treated to another Peach intermission, but it's very short, it's just an exposition dump. And then you get to play Super Bowser Bros again, but it kinda lost its novelty after the first time. You finally leave Twilight Town and head back to the door, and then you learn the next crystal star is a Keel Hall key. Professor Franklin also tells you the treasure is actually a demon soul that was originally sealed away by 4 heroes 1,000 years ago. So the real treasure isn't the friend we made along the way. Disappointing. Now, I ignored this next part of the game before, but it's important now. In Rogueport, there's a trouble center where people can post their problems and you can solve them for a reward, normally coins. A lot of them are underwhelming, a lot of them are very annoying, but after Chapter 4, a problem goes up with an unknown client. If you choose to accept it, and I think you should, you find the client to be Miss Mouse, who sends you on a wild chase back into Hooktail's castle to find a rare badge. However, this all turns out to be a test by her to see if you were worthy of her joining your team. And you are! Way to go. Completely optional and pretty worthless party member, but I like having her around and she already met all the required criteria, so why not? With that side quest done, it's time to head to Keel Hall Key. To do that, you need a boat. Or access the pipe under the town that takes you all the way there, but that's too easy. No, in the Shadow Bar there's a wealthy businessman named Flavio who yearns for adventure. At your suggestion, he decides to finance the trip to Keel Hall Key, because there are many ships going missing there. But he also heard there's tons of treasure. In no time at all, Flavio assembles a crew including some toads, a rough-looking bob-omb named Papat, and a familiar-looking pirate named Four Eyes. I know him from somewhere, I'm sure of it. He's probably in the original, I just never talked to him. Flavio also appoints you as captain. He then says he still needs a helmsman though, and Papat recommends the legendary and salty sea dog Bobbery, who is rumored to live in Rogueport. The coincidences don't stop coming! You're tasked with recruiting Bobbery, but he refuses to go. So you find more info about him from the soda jerk Podley. He reveals Bobbery's tragic backstory that years ago, while he was sailing, his wife, Scarlet, got sick and died. He had no idea until he returned home and he blamed himself. His rationale was he could have saved her if he had been there. That was my 69th line, and that wasn't nearly as funny as last time. On her deathbed, Scarlet had written Bobbery a letter and given it to Podley to give to him. but when Podley saw how much pain Bari was in, he couldn't bring himself to give it. In that instant, I forgot Crump, Grotus, the Shadow Sirens, and everyone else who tried to do us harm. The real villain is Podley. Podley passes the letter on to you to give to Bobbery. When Bobbery reads the letter, it makes me cry. Here is, no joke, completely unedited footage, music and all. It moved me. Bobbery takes a moment to himself, and then joins your crew. You shove off and everyone gets stuck at Flavio really quickly. Did you feel whiplash from how quickly the tone changed? That's what the game felt like. When you're near the key, you're attacked by fire spirits who sink the ship, but thankfully, the whole crew is okay save for 3 missing members, including Bobbery. They were unfortunately lost. You and the rest of the crew spend 3 days on the island without seeing them. After the camp is attacked, Flavio nominates you to explore the island. Almost immediately, you find the missing crew members, and they're under attack. Bobbery sacrifices himself to save Four Eyes and the random toad. Four Eyes breaks the fourth wall and talks directly to you, and I have no idea what he's talking about. Who is this guy? Do you know? You save Bobbery, but he's gravely injured. His last wish is for a bottle of Coca-Cola. Now, while this may seem like an awful last wish, this is because the game was localized. Alcohol being present in any form would have upped the ESRB rating to at least a T, and they wanted to keep it on an E, which is why all the bars were replaced with soda bars. In the Japanese version, also known as the original version, his last wish is for a bottle of scarlet wine, in memory of his wife. It's much better. As luck would have it, exactly 1 bottle washes ashore, and Flavio trades it for a coconut. Once the bottle's delivered, Bobbery drinks it and drifts off into an endless slumber, which ends almost immediately, because he's not dead, just asleep. Smacking him with a hammer wakes up, and he joins your party as the last member. A little bit further is a bizarre area, which has a hole that's a perfect fit for Flavio's treasured skull gem. You drag him there and use it to open up Cortez's secret lair, and the real island adventure begins. But let's just look at how poor Yoshi has to carry both of you. It's fun times for all but him. As far as dungeons go, this one is themed well, but it's rather annoying. Like, lots of traps, which is expected from pirates, but they drag it on just a bit too long for my taste. After a long trek through the hideout, you find the last of the black chest. Mario is sick of the lodge and steals the chest to curse him. The poor soul in the chest begins lamenting about how he's sad that he'll never get to see the look of horror when he pops out. You, though, being the hero you are, play along and let him do his whole spiel. This curse lets Mario turn into a paper boat? Seriously, a paper boat? Well, I guess I can try. Ta-da! I got kind of bored near the end and skipped the last few steps, but I'm pretty sure she's still seaworthy. Let's check! Alright, time for the SS Mario to set sail. Huh. I honestly expected it to sink. The cursed guy thanks you for participating and then disappears. Utilizing this new power, you sail deeper in the cave, where you come across a boat of shipwrecked toads. You free them, and it turns out these 2 lovebirds were on board as well. Great callback! Oh right, I lost that footage. This is Don Panda's daughter and his right-hand man, the 2 who eloped. However, this breaks continuity. You see, at the start of this game, there's a toad at Rogueport who is upset that his brother never came back after sailing away, way before these 2 pandas ever left on their ship. Later, it's revealed that brother was on the same shipwreck as these 2, despite having gone missing way before. Whatever they paid the writers of this game, it was too much if oversights like this are gonna occur. It's just sloppy Nintendo. You're now able to get into the last room of the hideout, which contains Cortez's ship and spirit. Cortez, whose skull makes me think of a hamster for some reason, immediately attacks you when you enter his treasure room. This is a really fun boss fight where he goes through a ton of different forms, each with 20 HP. At the end of it, he just comes back because he's a ghost and can't be beaten. But he decides to hear you out and hands over the star willingly because he doesn't really like it, and then just lets you go. A chill dude that Cortez is. The chapter ends, but you're not done yet. Four Eyes mounts an attack and reveals he was actually Crump this whole time! What a plot twist! I'd grown to love the Four Eyes character, but it turns out he was just waiting to steal the crystal star from you. My heart is broken. Crump begins sieging the island with his Exnaut ship, so Flavio thinks to go negotiate with Cortez to borrow his ship to fight back with. You bring him to Cortez, who turns out has a blood feud with Flavio's family after they stole his family gem, which was the key to moving his ship. Cortez is ready to turn Flavio into Piñata, not a joke, but Flavio, being a shrewd businessman, manages to talk his way out of it. He returns the Skull Gem in exchange for use of Cortez's ship. You know, Flavio is really annoying at first, but here he shows his true colors. He takes responsibility for his men, goes to face Cortez even though he's scared to death, and gives up his most valuable possession just to save everyone. I would be honored to serve under him. Cortez assists and gives us a great visual gag before engaging the X-Naut ship in the open waters. It's not versus Ghost and Toads in the ensuing battle, and you get to fight Crump and his wall of minions. I hope you thought to heal, because I know I sure didn't. Crump attacks using his infinite minions as living weapons. But he's the bad guy, so he loses even after cheating and coming back with more health. You repel the attack and Crump just leaves. Like nothing happens. You get a Peach intermission where she strips naked and wanders around the base. After taking an invisibility potion, I mean. Really should have led with that. The only reason she does this is to steal data from Grodius at Tech's insistence. Bowser and Crump have a showdown in Twilight Town with their full forces and accidentally set off the super bomb from before, doing humanity a favor by wiping all of Twilight Town off the face of the earth. Back to Mario, you learn some of the crew decide to stay on Keel Hall Key and build a new life, while most select to return to Rogueport on Cortez's ship. Once back home, Cortez decides to stay and act as your personal water taxi to and from Keel Hall. But like I said, that pipe from Roar basically makes him worthless. Merlin is waiting outside his shop and gives Mario a cryptic puzzle. It leads you back to Hooktail's castle where you find an error that reminds Merlin he can upgrade your partners more. 100% worth the journey. I'd actually go on to say it's a necessity. Either that or I'm just complete trash of the game and skated by on luck and high numbers. You then take the crystal star to the door and it reveals the next location to be in Poshley Heights. Frankly tells you that you just have to take a train there. No monsters, no dungeons, no fighting your way to the top of a blood sport. Just a train ride and boom! Crystal star! It'll be nice to relax. Unfortunately, to get a ticket you have to go to the mob again. And old Don is quite literally sick with loneliness since his daughter and right hand left. I guess his two little sidekicks over there don't do it for him. Though they do suggest you bring Don's daughter back, so you're tasked with fetching those two scrubs once again. If you don't recall, they're on Keel Hall Key. Thank goodness Cortez stuck around as her own personal fairy. Once you get there, you find them searching for Francesca's lost ring. And get this, even though she's aware her father is dying, she refuses to leave without her ring. Things can be replaced, people can't! She says to waste more time by making Frankie say I love you 100 times. And he actually spends time doing it. Don is dying, people! Anyway, you find her ring and she agrees to go home. You get back and suddenly she's acting like she actually cares. Yeah, okay. Hey, Francesca, tell him about how you value your ring more than his life. Please, I'm sure he'll love to hear that. Okay. By the way, if you're wondering why Mario is yellow now, there's a badge called the W emblem, which changes his color scheme to yellow. There's also an L emblem which changes it to green, and then wearing them both changes it to purple. Don recovers and says he wants the kids to stay here, so he retires and hands the reins of the Mafia over to Frankie. He thanks you and gives you a ticket to the Postley Express. He apparently has a ton of them. When you finish there, you're done with the Mafia for good. I mean, not really. The only way out is death. But in this game, you're done with them. You board the train and it looks like it's smooth sailing to the next crystal star. Until someone slips a threat/warning under your door, you leave to find the culprit and meet the characters on the train. And they're all pretty colorful, actually. You got an overweight toad, a rat businessman, a penguin detective, some rich folks, and... oh my gosh! That's the Zip Toad! The famous movie star! Pinch me, I must be dreaming! While you're meeting the conductor, a theft has been carried out in the kitchen, and Pennington, the penguin detective, appoints you as his apprentice. He wants you to solve the case of the missing soup. Gee, I wonder who would have stolen food. Was it Toodles, the rich toad? Was it Goldbob and his family? Was it the dead toad, Ghost T? Or was it Hefty, the fat toad? They're all equally suspicious. Surprise, it was the fat one! No repercussions for him, even though everyone has to go hungry that night. The rest of the train ride is basically like this, a bunch of side quests. You get the engineer's autograph for Bub, the little Bob-Omb, find the missing blanket for the conductor, find Ghost T's diary. That one is kind of fun though, because he kills you if you read it. Then 3 specific items go missing all at once. The waitress's shell earrings, Toodle's gold ring, and the rat's briefcase, which contained a prototype of nitro honey syrup. He goes on to say if mixed with gold and calcium from seashells, it's explosive. Everyone on this train is in danger! So you decide to go rest in your room. Back in your room, you find another note. By hiding, the culprit reveals himself to be... no, not Zip Toad! It has a promising career, but the scandal will ruin him. I can see the headlines now. Famous actor turned terrorist. You stop at Riverside Station, where the bridge has been raised by Beldam, to have Zip Toad arrested. But it turns out Zip Toad was actually Dupless in disguise! Too bad cancel culture has already ruined Zip's career. Dupless escapes and the station attendants enlist Mario to lower the bridge because they're too lazy to do it themselves. The station acts as the dungeon for the most part, and I hate it. Why let the station become decrepit if you're still going to run this luxury train line through it? Why are there attendants here at all if they don't do anything? Invest some of the train profits in fixing this place up. It's not hard. Jeez. Inside, you steal some new kicks which allow you to spring jump. At the bottom of the station are some weird fudge creatures that you have to clear out to reach the bridge switch. The bridge is lowered and you finally get to leave this depressing station. Frankly promised Fleet as a rest, but instead you're solving everyone's problems. At least the decor's nice. On dawn of the final day, all those ungrateful ingrates are missing, and yes, I know that's redundant, but I just hate them all so much, okay? You go shoot the breach at the engineer, who's the only one who hasn't burdened you, and turns out the fuzz monsters, identified as smorgs, weren't cool being evicted, followed the train, and somehow kidnapped everyone but you. They start overtaking the train, and it's up to you to fight them off, freeing a few captives along the way. However, most of them are trapped with the elite maroon ones. You'd think using these guys as hostages would make you hold back, but joke's on the smorg. Knowing these guys are in there only makes me hit harder. As boss fights go, this one kinda blows. The smorg has multiple forms and you keep beating them down. It's like Cortez, but not as fun. You save the day again and everyone is happy. Whoopee. And then you finally escape these annoyances. Possibly Heights is nice and all, as the name would suggest, but we're just gonna blow on past that and go straight to the Sanctum. That's where the Crystal Star is. Turns out Pennington is actually the guardian of the Posse Sanctum where the star is held and lets you in. Inside, you're just in time to see Beldam, Marilyn, and Dupless, who has replaced Vivian, abscond with the star. The sirens disappear and Dupless pulls his signature escape move and jumps out a broken window to escape. Come on, man. You already stole the star. Now Pennington has to pay to fix that. Pennington reveals the crystal star on display was actually a fake one and the real one is safely hidden away in the portrait in the back of the room. That's super trippy. You get the crystal star and the chapter ends. You go into the Peach intermission and Tech has found out something and decides to help Peach escape. But before he can, Grotus deletes him and takes Princess Peach away from the base. You play Super Bowser Burst for the last time and it's lost all of its charm and is now just a chore. Back in Rogueport, you can also obtain the Ultra Hammer from the chest that's been taunting you since the game began. I guess you didn't throw away Jolene's hammer because this one is better? At the 1000-year door, you update your map for the last time and find out that the lost crystal star is at the Exxon's base, which is located on the moon? I really don't want to go to the moon. So I guess we're done here. And that was part 2. I fulfilled my future, so I'm done, right? No, I'm done. And you can't make me make another.